Hey everybody, hope you all are doing well and welcome back to Michael's Matters. Now, as sort of a continuation of our previous video about who is eligible for Social Security, today we're going to do a little bit of a deeper dive into Social Security survivors benefits and how long they last. So, we're going to talk about how Social Security survivors benefits are calculated, how much somebody can get, and how long those benefits can last. Because the thing is, there are a lot of variables that go into how much and how long a person's Social Security benefits continue. This is especially important for anyone who is related to a person on Social Security or will be. So that could be any of the programs. So that could be Social Security Disability, SSDI, Social Security Retirement, Social Security Survivors, SSI, and really all the other iterations of Social Security. So we're going to get into what Social Security benefits look like, even after a spouse or a parent, or perhaps even a child passes, because it can have a very big impact on the spouse or the dependent's life thereafter. So today we're talking about Social Security survivors benefits, how much survivors can get, how long those benefits last, and when you become eligible for Social Security survivors benefits. Now, this is Michael's Matters, and before we get to it, if you like these videos, if you find them interesting, if you find them helpful, or hey, if you at least find them useful, please don't forget to like and subscribe, because it really does help our channel to grow, and we are super thankful for that. But also, you get updates when our newest and most informative videos become available. All right, now, let's get down to the video. So let's first start off by talking about what are Social Security survivors benefits. As they sound, they are benefits from Social Security to a surviving family member of a deceased Social Security beneficiary. This could also be a person who is now deceased but would have become eligible for Social Security at some point in the future. Currently, there are, as of April 2023, a total of 66 million or so people who are receiving Social Security benefits in the United States, of which around 49 million are retired workers, while 1,982,000 are spouses of retired workers, and a total of 5,878,000 are those folks who are receiving benefits from Social Security survivors, or about 8.8% of the total number of Social Security benefits are going to Social Security survivors. So needless to say, although survivors are not the largest part of the Social Security program, they are a significant number of Americans who rely on these benefits. Looking at the Social Security Survivors Program specifically, the largest group of surviving beneficiaries are non-disabled widows or widowers at 3,498,000 beneficiaries, and the next are children of deceased workers at 2,060,000. So there are a lot of folks out there who are benefiting from specifically the Social Security Survivors Program, and that number is probably most likely going to continue to go up as the life expectancy of both men and women continue to show increased widening. So let's talk about who is eligible for Social Security Survivors benefits, just real quick. To be eligible for Social Security benefits, a couple must be married for at least 10 years. The surviving spouse usually has to be at least 60 years old or older, unless, of course, they are disabled, and then that drops down to 50 years of age. And the surviving spouse would need to be single, or they would need to have remarried after the age of 60 years old or 50 years old if they are disabled. But of course, like all these programs, there are exceptions to these guidelines. For example, if the late beneficiary's death was an accident or occurred while in the line of military duty, or if you are taking care of children who are under the age of 16 years old or are disabled from that same marriage. But as you can imagine, when you start your benefits is going to be one of the biggest indicators of how long Social Security survivors benefits can last, because it's really going to vary from person to person depending on when they start receiving those benefits. Now, to show exactly what I mean by this, look at Helen Viola Jackson, who died in December of 2020, where there was internet and there was self-driving cars by Waymo and 5G cellular service, that 2020. Now, I emphasize this because she died at the ripe old age of 101 years old, which in itself, super impressive. Good job, Helen, right? But the most germane part of this to us and to this video is the fact that when she died, she was living off survivors' benefits from her husband, James Bolin, who was a cavalry soldier in the United States Civil War. Ms. Jackson was the last surviving Civil War survivors pension benefit recipient in 2020. She received those survivors benefits for 81 years. So benefits, they can last a long time, but depending on when you start them, I guess that's my point. Because although most people who get benefits are the surviving spouse, you can also get them as a child of a deceased worker, or even if you are the parent of a deceased worker, or in the case of Helen, if you married while you were really, really young, but your spouse is, we'll call it much more advanced in age, then you could have benefits for quite some time. So ultimately, how long benefits last for Social Security survivors is going to be really dependent on when you start getting those benefits and how long you end up living. This also means that the short answer for how long survivor's benefits last is that survivor's benefits last until you no longer need them, or, when you're no longer alive. But benefits can also end for a number of other reasons that are not because you're no longer alive. By this I mean, for example, if you are receiving Social Security survivor's benefits, but you get a divorce, and then you remarry before you are the age of 60 years old, or 50 years old if you are disabled, this would be a situation that somebody's survivor's benefits could end as well. Another situation would be if a person is on survivor's benefits and then they retire themselves and their new Social Security retirement benefit for themselves are actually higher than the surviving benefits, then in this case, the survivor's benefits would be replaced by the higher of the two benefits. Now, so we got the how long question answered. Let's talk about how much survivor's benefits can be. And again, we will look at this in the general and then we'll look at it specifically. But at the beneficiary level, benefits are going to be based off the standard Social Security beneficiaries benefits calculation. Say that 5 times fast. So it's going to be a number based off how long the primary Social Security beneficiary worked, how much money they put into the Social Security system via the payroll tax that we all have to pay, and lastly, when they decided to retire. Because remember, if someone does retire as early as possible, instead of the full retirement age at 67, then the early retiree will lose about 30% of their Social Security benefits. At 67 years old, though, they would get 100%. And by 70, they would get around 30% more, so 130% of their total benefit. That is just something to bear in mind if you have a spouse who is maybe thinking about retiring early. You may want to pump them up, give them a little bit of cheerleading to get them to work those couple extra years to get those higher benefits, because eventually those Social Security benefits may end up becoming survivor's benefits. With that in mind, survivor's benefits amounts vary in a similar way. So, for example, if you started to claim Social Security survivor's benefits between the ages of 60 and your full retirement age, usually 65 or 67, then your survivor's benefits too would be cut down by 30% from whatever amount the primary Social Security beneficiary's spouse was getting. At the surviving spouse's full retirement age, that goes up to 100% of the primary spouse's benefits. So that is in the most common situations, but in some of the less common situations, the benefits get reduced at a different amount. So for example, survivor's benefits for a surviving spouse who is caring for a child under the age of 16, they would be able to get 75% of the primary spouse's benefits. That goes the same for a child under the age of 18 who is still in school or who has a disability. Lastly, for situations where the parents are the surviving member and are aged 62 years or older, if there is one surviving parent, that parent would get up to 82.5% of the Social Security beneficiary's benefit. Or if there are two surviving parents, they would each get 75%. One last thing that I think is really important to mention about this is on the amounts is that there's actually a maximum monthly benefit that survivors can receive. And that limit is going to vary, but it's going to range between 150% and 180% of the basic benefit. So if you're looking at those numbers based off as being a parent and doing the math, you can see that you can actually get over 100% of what the actual benefit is. So Social Security does not end up capping how long somebody can get benefits, but they do end up capping how much in total survivors' benefits can be paid out monthly. So like many things in life, timing is everything. And when someone starts claiming Social Security survivors' benefits, that can have a big effect on how much benefits they can get, as well as how long. So if we want to take a wider view on this, we can go back to Social Security data from Social Security that shows that the average monthly benefits for all Social Security beneficiaries for 2023 as of April, again, is at $1,698.05 a month, with the primary retired workers getting an average of $1,834.80 a month, and the average survivor's benefits being at $1,449.22. And for non-disabled widows or widowers who make up the majority of those survivors' benefits, the number is going to be the highest out of all the survivors' benefits, receiving $1,712.51 on average. So overall, thinking about Social Security survivors' benefits, it can definitely be a bit daunting, especially because I would imagine that you are trying to apply for benefits at one of the most difficult periods in a person's life, when there is a loss of a loved one in their family. Whether that is a spouse, a child, a parent, or other important family member, but we can also see just how important and valuable survivors' benefits are as well, because they could mean the difference between abject poverty and having some help to live out your life even after your primary breadwinner in your family is already gone. I mean, that is why it is so frustrating to see benefits like these being put in jeopardy by members of Congress, really on both sides of the aisle, Democrats and Republicans, at the drop of a hat, like they are just something to be negotiated with, neglecting the fact that there are millions of Americans' livelihoods who are on the line. All right, so that's it for today's Michael's Matters, and I really hope that you enjoy these videos or you found them interesting or helpful or hey, maybe even useful. And if you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe because it does really help our channel to grow, and we are super thankful for that. But also because you can get updates when our newest and most informative videos become available. So for Michael's Matters, I'm Michael, hoping that you take care of yourself, take care of others, and have a happy, healthy